My name is Lonnie Ray Miller, and I'm 79 years old. Will be 80 in November of this year, 2014. I was born in Avery, Oklahoma. She thought more of doing for other people than she did herself. She was a very hard-working woman. It's like my dad said one time that she could pick more cotton than he could. Outpick him on cotton. Great father and mother. Couldn't ask for a better set of parents. Good Christian mother, good father. Couldn't ask for a better one.
What do you remember most about your mother?
She was a good religious mother and very understanding. Never heard a cross word out of her. Never raised her voice at you. She just sat down and talked to you.
Do you remember your mother praying a lot?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In fact, Brother Bill was a great prayer. In fact, my dad asked me one time, said, when he lived over on west of me, said, "Do you ever?" This is about a half mile from where my dad lived. He said, "I don't know how you could keep him hearing your brother Bill pray, because I think everybody in the neighborhood would hear him pray when he goes to bed at night. He prays for every one of you boys." I said, "Well."
Do you remember when Irvin went to World War II?
Yeah. Yep. I remember when he come home, when my grandma Bryant died, he come home for a funeral.
What do you remember the mood like in the house when he went to World War II?
You mean what it was like?
Yeah, like what was the mood of the family, you know?
It was sad. It was. Because that's the first time they'd ever been away from home, you know, more or less. I think he left first, and then Brother Jay left second, because Jay was living in Wichita, Kansas. I come down in Polio when I was about 3 years old, when we lived down here on 29th Street by where the bank is. My mother told me that I walked up on the porch and leg just crumbled and I fell. And I could never get up. So, diagnosed with polio, and I was in a cast up to my waist on both legs. And after that, I wore braces for a while. And what they tell me now is that polio killed all your large nerves in your legs and part of your back and your spine. And I attribute this to my mother's prayers. But I had what they call little small nerves grow back in my legs, and I got by for years. Never had strong legs most people had, but enough to get by without any problems. Could never run or anything like that. But now they're starting to wear out. About the last 15 years ago, I started noticing my legs get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker to where they're at today. I don't have any strength moving my legs this way. I got plenty of strength going back, but nothing going this way. I got to keep my knees locked when I'm walking. And when I get up, if I don't keep them locked, down I go. And I have quite a bit of pain in the knees from locking your knees when you're walking. Same way going up steps, you got to lock your knees. We were married 51 years and 1 month when she passed away. Her name was Joan Lotella Allison Miller.
And tell me about how many children did you have?
I got two. I've got a son and a daughter. And one granddaughter and one great grandson.
And you've been in Oklahoma City your whole life?
It really is Dale City, yeah. Since 1936, yeah. I never moved away. I lived in Oklahoma City for about 11 months, then moved back to Dale City after I was married. We lived in an apartment in Capitol Hill after we was married for about 11 months.
I love your wife to death. She was such a sweetheart, and as a child, she made you feel special.
Yeah.
and I have very good memories of her. What did you admire most about Aunt Joan?
Well, she was sweet, and she thought about other people more than she did herself, and she was a hard worker. And she come down with that blood disease, blood cancer, and she lived 10 years without suffering for 10 years before she passed on. And she actually talked to the Lord at least twice that I know of. She was going to take a type of chemo that was pretty potent. The doctor said, be prepared for anything. And she was really kind of shaky when I left the hospital. I said, well, I'll stay here with you. And she said, no, you're going home. You need your rest. I said, well, I'll call you before I go to bed. So I called her, and she was as calm as could be. And I said, what happened? She said, well, I talked to the man upstairs, and he said everything be fine. I said, you what? She said, I talked to the Lord. He said, everything be fine. I said, I'll be right there. So I went up there, and she was as calm as could be. She had talked to the Lord, told her to be fine. She would have no problem. And when she passed away, I went in on Sunday afternoon, because my daughter stayed with her part of Saturday. And she told me after everybody left, she said, I'm going to die tonight. And I said, no, you're not going to die tonight. She said, I'm going to die tonight. She did. So somebody had to tell her that she was going to die. And I wished 1,000 times that I asked her, how did you know you're going to die tonight? And when I left there, I would have never left if I'd known for sure. I just never had no idea that she's going to pass away that night for sure. I knew that she was in pretty bad shape. Well, now when everybody left, my son come in to stay with her the rest of the night, and she told him that she's going to die tonight. And he said, no, you're not going to die. Well, 2:30 she did. But Robert Adams come in Saturday afternoon and prayed for her, and he had a beautiful prayer. And so somebody had to tell her that she was going to pass away, or she would have known it. Because my mother always said she was going to die at 66, and she did.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Premonitions. Somebody will tell you this. You just don't make it up in your mind.
How old was she when she started saying that?
My mother, she's 66. Oh, when she told me she was going to die, I don't know. As long as I can remember, she said that. Because we didn't dwell on it or nothing, we never thought anything about it.
But from a young woman,
yeah,
she always told you at 66 she was going to die.
See, her mother died at 66, and she said she would die the same age as her mother, 66. And her mother died at 66. And another phenomenon on my wife, her dad died in 65, her mother died in 85, my wife died in 205. 20, 20, 20, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Well, when I first went to work for him was, like I said a while ago, when it was in 1953. I was a senior in high school. I used to work at a service station down here. But he started selling whiskey, and he said I either had to sell whiskey or he had to hire somebody else. And I said, well, you hire somebody else. So I left, and that's when I went to work for Irvin until, that was in 53, and Irvin left there in 58, I think. And I worked another year after Irvin left American Bond Printing and started his own business. Then I left American Bond and went to work for a Western Paper Company for about 11 months, and then I went to work for Irvin at his new shop there on Walnut in Oklahoma City. In part-time about 1959 and full-time 1960. And I stayed with Printer's Bindery until 1985. And I started my own business.
And what business is that?
About the same thing I was doing, numbering and perforating and drilling and mylar and tab and what have you. And I had that business for about 12 years before I retired. Well, Brother Floyd used to help me out occasionally, Irvin was, he's about 9 years older than me, so it kind of wouldn't be right for him to jump on somebody, but Brother Floyd would help me occasionally if somebody bigger got on me. I could usually take care of myself, unless it was pretty big, But Floyd would chime in if I had a problem.
Now, who did you share a bed with growing up?
Brother Bill.
Brother Bill?
Yeah. And Woolard at one time. I slept at the foot of the bed. All their feet was in my face, you know.
That's what.
We slept three to a bed.
That's what Willard said. You'd be at the foot of the bed.
Originally, I slept with Bill and Woolard, and I slept at the foot of the bed. Then later, when they left to go to war, Irvin and them, we got to be at the right where there were only two at the bed. And I slept with Bill, and Floyd and Woolard slept together, and Vita slept in a little room on her own. Yeah.
Okay. Any fights or anything over sleeping?
Oh yeah, we had a little scrap, but nothing serious. Yeah. Floyd always said, whenever I got mad at him, I'd pick up anything I could find and try to hit him with it. But he could outrun me, so no big deal. No, we got along pretty good.
Yeah, that's what, from talking to Irvin and Willard, it's kind of it's the same theme with how the family got along and how Mother prayed and how your dad was just an all-around fair man, hard-working man.
Yeah. Now, we had wonderful parents, and I wouldn't trade them for nobody. Couldn't ask for better parents.
Is there any funny stories you can think about of Irvin in particular?
Now, one time he was driving his old 34 Ford, and the doors opened backwards. You know, back then they didn't open like they do that now. And I was riding on his side, coming up in the seat, and he come around that corner about way too fast, and the door opened, and out I went, out on the ground. But it wasn't hurt to speak up. Back then, you could hit pretty hard, maybe skin a little bit, and get back up. That's the only thing I know about them, yeah.
What was his reaction?
The only funny story about was Woolard. We used to go swimming in that little pond up there at Sun Lane Cemetery. And we was up there swimming one time, and he went in, and he come out of that water just splashing and jumping and hollering. And a crawdad had crawled up in his side of his bathing suit there. And I had a hold of him. He probably won't wish me to tell you that, but
that's a good one.
But it was funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
That's the fastest I ever seen him move. Come out of that water, just a splash, another splash.
About Marvel falling and passing away, what was your reaction to that?
It was sad. But in her condition at that time, I was glad for her to go on. That's like my dad, the way he was at the end. I was glad for him to go on. My mother the same way. Brother Jay the same way. Floyd, I wasn't quite ready because he didn't look that bad off until he just heart attack and died, you know. But the others, I was glad for them to go on because they were in pretty bad shape.
What kind of shape do you think Irvin's in at 89?
I think he's pretty good for his age. Pretty good. He's fallen a little bit, but we all do that. But for his age, he looks pretty good. I think he'll make the 90s, somewhere up in the 90s somewhere. Yeah. The oldest Miller that I know of was 99, and that was my dad's father's brother was 99 when he passed away. And most of the Millers were in the high 80s and 90s when they passed away.
If you had the opportunity to speak with your dad, what would you want to talk to him about?
Tell me he's a great man. I love him dearly and can't wait to see him.
Tell me what you think heaven is like.
Well, it's just in your mind. I know one thing. I'll have the best legs I ever had in my life, and I'll have good ears and good eyes and a perfect body. And get to see all my loved ones, mother, dad, brothers, sister, nieces. That was the best thing, is being able to see all your loved ones.
How important is God to you in your life?
Very important. Him and his son both, but especially God.
Do you talk to God daily?
Every day. Every day. Nope. In fact, I'm ready anytime the good Lord said, come, I'm ready to go. You hate to leave your children, but yeah, I'm ready. Can't wait.